If you guys are looking to buy or sell your Rocket League items for money, then make sure to head to the first link in the description. You can buy absolutely any item that you want, and have now also included item bundles to save you guys even more money and save more from your purchase with code JAKRS at checkout. If you guys want to win a heat wave, then all you've got to do is subscribe to the channel, turn on my post notifications, drop a like on today's video, and leave a comment with your details down below and also why you want to win the giveaway. Hey, what's going on guys? I'm JAKRS and welcome back to another Rocket League video on my channel, and today we've got another episode to being a middleman, and this is literally the biggest and best episode of being a middleman we've done so far, and hopefully there'll be more awesome trades to come in this series. But today's episode is dedicated to painted Apex wheels. We're going to take a look at the sky blue, lime and crimson in today's episode, and that goes way over 1,000 keys worth of painted Apexes, as well as trading. And I'm going to be a middleman, and if you guys don't know why middlemen are needed during trades, then it's because it might go over the 50 key limit and somebody only wants keys and not just items, and maybe the amount of items can't even make up for it and they only have keys, so want to pay with that. So I'm the person that they give both the item and the keys to, and then I transfer it over, so no trust is needed and they just put all their trust in me. And sometimes I stream it, and if you guys need me to be a middleman, then make sure to just let me know in the comment section of today's video, and that's actually how these videos are made possible, especially for today's episode. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's awesome middleman trades that hopefully you guys will enjoy. So make sure to drop a like on today's video if you do enjoy them, and let's get straight into this week's middleman trades. So the first middleman trade of today's painted Apex episode is for Sky Blue Apex, and they're actually some of the nicest wheels out of this 3 collections that we have of different painted Apexes that you'll see in today's episode. I'm probably going to cut all these clips down because there are a lot of key trades, some of them going over 200 keys, and so there'll be a lot of trades to do, as well as getting them from one person and giving it to the other person. So it's going to be way over 10 trades for those sort of trades, so I'll probably cut them down a bit short, otherwise this video will be about half an hour long. But this sky blue trade, I got the sky blue Apex straight away from the guy, and then this other person right here had to pay 130 keys for them, and once I'd got the 130 keys, give it to the other person, and then he would then receive his sky blue Apex. And so all of these trades that you're about to see in today's episode are going to be for painted Apex wheels. We've got sky blue, crimson, and also a pair of lime Apexes also, and I'll probably put these trades in price order, starting from the lowest trade all the way to the highest, which is probably going to be the crimson Apex, and those actually do look really good and blood red. And so this was the first trade here. We had received the Apex in the first trade. This is the 50 keys down, and then once I'd received another 50 keys from this guy, I could then give him the Apex with the 30 that he then had to pay up at the end. But once I got these keys, it was then to transfer it over to the next player, and then he would trade his Apex over. And because this goes over the 50 key limit, of course you guys know that I need to be the middleman for this trade, and it's really awesome because I've never actually done middleman trades for painted Apexes before, and this is my first experience with them. There's some really beautiful looking wheels, and this is another 50 keys right here, and then after this trade we'll proceed on to do 30 keys as well as with the Apex, and then it was time to give the full 130 keys to the other player, and then this middleman trade was complete, and we can move on to the next pair of painted Apex that we need to do in today's video. So I got the sky blue Apexes ready. There are actually some really nice wheels that I would have tried on and see what they look like with my car, but I didn't actually have a sky blue preset ready for them, and later in today's episode you'll probably see me try on a few wheels like the crimson Apex, and those do actually look really nice. So this side of the trade was complete. This guy had paid up all of the keys and then finally received his Apex, so his side was done, but it was now time to give the 130 keys to the other player, and then this trade was officially out of the way, and we can move on to some really awesome other colors of these wheels. And the way that you guys do pick up Apex, if you guys don't already know, is by connecting your Twitch account to your PlayStation, Steam or Xbox account, watching the Face It live stream on Twitch, and then while watching you might get a message in your inbox saying that you've received a reward, and when you log into your account the next time you'll see a reward. And some of my friends the other day actually got painted Helioses, and the white one of my friend got is worth over 100 keys, and he straight away went and bought a pair of white zombies. So you could literally get some really awesome items from that, so I do recommend watching the stream even if you're not interested in competitive. There's a lot of people that are there that type in the chat wanting their rewards. So this is all of the keys that we're trading over now. We've done 50 keys, and it's time to do the second trade and then another 30 as well as then all of the other trades that we need to do in today's video. And yes, I do know this is a lot of keys that I'm being trusted with right here, especially with Painted Apex, which at the moment are selling for about over 200 keys each, except from some like the Burnt Sienna, which are only like 30 keys, and the pink that are about 40. But I'd love to pick up a few pairs of Painted Apex once I get the set, and also I've completed my Zomba set. I've nearly got a full Zomba set right now, and I've bought the full Draco set as well. I'm probably going to get a load of sets and make my inventory look really nice, and then probably do a full inventory showcase. You can see my inventory right here. I've got loads of crates. I've got the Alchemist set, a lot of different other sets as well. But this was the last trade right here. It was to give 30 keys to this guy, and then he received all of his keys for his Apex, and he decided to sell them. I don't know, because Apex right now are going up and down. Some colors are going down in value, some colors are going up. For example, the white have gone from 400 plus to 450 plus because people are paying about 600 for them right now. And you guys can watch my video that'll be linked in the description of what I sold my white Apex for, but I didn't decide to go for full keys and go for the full 600. I decided to go for some items instead, so I didn't have to use a middleman or do separate trades, because it does take quite a while, especially when I was buying them. So this right here, and he actually gave me something for doing the trades for him. I was very thankful for this, so huge shout out to this guy, a huge thank you to him for this keys. And that is one bonus of doing middleman trades for people, is that sometimes they give you a bit of a fee to do it for you. But I don't really ask for this because I enjoy doing it just to make videos out of them, and really awesome opportunities. So this next middleman trade is actually for the Lime Apex wheels, a slight upgrade from the last trade that we did for the Sky Blue Apex. The Sky Blue Apex were worth about 100 plus when I did the middleman trade, and so 130 keys was a slight overpay for them, but they are a plus, so they can go up to as much as anyone wants to pay for them, I guess. But right now they've gone up to 125 on the Sky Blue, and so might sell for even more. So I don't know, the guy that bought them might have made a good choice and could probably sell them on for about 150 at the moment. But this trade right here is for Lime Apex, and the Lime Apex right now have shot up to about 215 plus. They are some really nice looking wheels and do match really nicely on slightly on both teams, but mostly on the orange team. And so this trade right here was for 50 keys, and in total this guy was paying about 230 keys for this wheels. And so yeah, this is the second trade that we're doing. We actually do two middleman trades with this guy right here. He was buying two different pairs. He was buying both the Crimson and the Lime, and you'll see me do a middleman trade for the Crimson as the next middleman trade that I do in today's episode, and I think he buys those for about 240 keys, which is insane. So what I'd learned from doing middleman trades is that it's easier to do most of the trades for the keys first, and then once they do their last payment of keys, for example, if it's 230 keys, get 200 from them, and then once they need to pay 30, go and get the wheel, which is the Apexes, give them 50 keys for the Apex because they've already given you enough, and then once you give them the 50 for the Apex, then give the Apex to the other person with the rest of the keys they need to pay up. Then their side is done. You've also given 50 keys to the other person, so it saves a lot of time doing that. If you guys do middleman trades or you're a middleman yourself, then make sure to do that. It does save a lot of time in my opinion, and it definitely saved me a lot of time because these trades right here took at least 10 minutes each. And yeah, it really is thankful when people give you some items to say thank you for it, because it does take a lot of time. And yeah, it saves them a lot of time as well because they might be getting a really good deal. And so we got loads of 50 keys down, keys after keys after keys. And the plan was to once I had received 200 keys from this guy, to then with the last 30 get the Apex and then do that trade there. So we'd get a load of keys here, and we now need to get even more. So this is the last payment of keys we did before I went and got the Apex wheels, and so the Apex were going to be straight after this. Those are really nice looking wheels. I would have tried them on just to see what they look like. I actually haven't had any of these painted Apex before. The only ones I have had are titanium white, and those are honestly some of my favorites, and also crimson being up there as well. But I should have tried on the Lime. I definitely did try on the Crimson because I wanted to see what it looks like, and they thought it was a little bit sketchy when I tried on the Crimson. But here is the last key trade, and then I went and got the pair of painted Apex wheels, and I think I gave 50 pure keys for these as well to give him a bit of items to hold on to whilst I go and get the more keys and then give them to him afterwards. So he actually accepted the trade straight away, but I decided to put up 50 keys to make the trades quicker, and so I didn't have to give him the 50 keys afterwards, and it limits the trades down to less trades. And then once I given this, it was now time to pay the full side of the Apex. With the guy had paid up his full amount of keys, and so it was the last trade to do. We both accepted on this, and I was technically getting Lime Apex. If I was doing a best trade ever video, I could say, oh my god, Lime Apex of 50 keys or something like that, but I don't stage videos like that on my channel, and so this is really awesome. I should have equipped now, but I just went straight to the next player, and I put up these wheels, and he then had to pay 30 pure keys, and then these wheels were officially his, and he could then add them to his collection. And we then do the crimson as well, which he then adds to his huge collection as well. I think this guy, as well as another player called G Bubba that I made, actually supplied some of the items for the video of the 1000 key car that we did. He has supplied some of those, and he has a huge collection of painted Apex. He's going for the set, and I know a few people that are going for the striker painted Apex sets as well, which are going to cost way over 5,000 keys, which is insane. That one side had now fully been paid up. He'd paid all of his keys, and then he'd received the painted Apex, and so he was definitely really happy with those, and are some wheels to be cherished. And the one thing about Apex wheels is they're so very rare that you have to watch the live streams to be able to receive them. If there are only 50,000 people watching, imagine how many different items there are. There are Hustle Brows, Mount Champion, painted Helioses, loads of different colours of those also. People tend to get a load of RLCS decals. I've got a few of those from watching the streams. And yeah, honestly, there's so many different variants that you could get as a reward. And so the painted Apex, especially titanium white striker, are definitely very rare. There's probably only about one pair of those. So it's now time to just give a load more keys to this guy. And then once we had fully paid up all of this side of the keys, the trade was then completed. And we could then move on and say that we've done a trade for Sky Blue Apex, Lime Apex, and then to be Crimson Apex as well. That is definitely some really awesome trades that I'll put down in my opportunities of middleman trades, and definitely people will see this trade and hopefully will trust me. This will give people a bit of trust in me to do even more trades. They'll see me do trades for these painted Apex, and it will definitely further on my knowledge of being a middleman, I guess, on this series. Something that I also thank this player for is he gave me a titanium white Ion boost trail that you can get from trading up. This is actually a really nice looking boost, especially being titanium white. I think it sells for about 2 keys, so I'm very thankful for this. And there was still one more trade to do after this, so he could have maybe done it at the last trade to make it a bit of a surprise or something. But yeah, he wanted to do it right now, so we did 50 pure keys with that. And then I'll now cut to the last final trade where we had paid all of the payments off, all of the keys, all of the Apex, and this trade was fully complete. Here it was, the final moment, and then after this, these players could go and enjoy their items. This guy could spend his keys on whatever he wanted, maybe some painted zombies, he could go and buy some painted Dracos, stuff like that, that are really awesome items, and then the guy can enjoy his painted Apex, which he definitely will do. So it's now time to move on to the third trade. This third trade right here was for a pair of crimson painted Apex wheels, and Crimson Apex are some of the nicest ones that you can get under the titanium white, which are priced at about 450 plus and sell for about 650 at the moment. Crimson Apex are ones that have been drastically going up and then down really quickly, because I've seen people sell them for about 350 keys, but this guy right here was paying 240 pure keys for Crimson Apex. I think that point tag has been in a few of our videos before, but this guy right here, Tushar, was the one that hit me up for this middleman trade and wanted me to do it. He was buying 2 different pairs, and I definitely wanted to make this into a video. And the funny thing is, point tag actually hit me up before doing this middleman trade, asking me if I want to buy them for about 240 keys myself, and I didn't know whether to buy them because there was a bit sketchy going up and down in value. I didn't know whether it was a good investment or not. Maybe I could have got 300 keys, because when last time I bought the white Apex from point tag, I bought them for about 480 worth, but then he gave me a few items like the white Octane, and I also won the white Helios from him as well to build that 1000 key car. But once we'd done that, I then decided to sell them on, and I got a huge profit from those wheels. And I think he wanted to quick sell them on. Maybe he was scared because of the RLCS drops and thought they was going to go down. But this trade right here, 240 keys for Crimson Apex, I feel like it's a great deal. Maybe this guy can get about 300 for them, but I don't think he'll be selling them anytime soon. And it's insane to think that, well, we've literally had the Sky Blue Apex are worth about 250 keys, and to think that the guy gave me way over 200, it was about 230, so if we times that by 2, it's about 500 keys right there. And then the Lime Apex as well, those are worth just over 100, about 150, and so if you times that by 2 as well, that's 300, so that's already 800 keys worth of items that we've had in our inventory today to do middleman trades for. And then to think that also we're going to have the Crimson Apex, which are worth about 250 as well, maybe going on to about the 300 to 350 mark as well. So if you times that by 2, that's either 600 or 700 worth of items, and that goes way over 1,000 keys worth of painted Apex, and also keys that we've had in our inventory for middleman trades. And it was now time to just do a load of key trades. It does take quite a while, and so I don't really recommend becoming a middleman, because it's really time consuming doing all of these trades, and I get hit up quite a lot. And the thing is, when doing middleman trades, if you guys want me to be a middleman for you, then you can just comment that in the comment section down below, and I'll happily do trades for you. But the thing is, it takes a lot of time to do, and as you guys can see in my inventory, collecting a set of ARAs as well. But once these keys were all given to me, it was time to then get the Crimson Apex, which I then put on my car, which we'll see quite soon. But also, then we saved a lot of time by doing a trade just before the last amount of keys needed to be paid up. And I know there are a lot of alternatives to using YouTubers as middlemen. I know that a lot of people don't really like to do middlemen videos, but I enjoy doing it on the channel. That's why I make videos on it. I'm probably one of the main people. I know Angie Merkel used to do a lot of middleman trades, and he actually gave me the idea to want to do a lot of middleman trades, and people actually did trust me, so I decided to make this series myself. I don't think he makes videos on them anymore, but if he does, then that was literally my inspiration to start doing trades like this. And so it was then time to move on to the painted Apex, which I then put on my car. And literally when I had these in my inventory, I was like, wow, these look so good, especially being the first time that I've ever had them in my inventory. I was so eager to put them on my car. This was 50 pure keys right here. He accepted, I accepted, and that was his keys to hold on to until I'd give him the rest of them. But just before I received the rest of the keys to finalize this guy's half of the payment, I then went straight to my car and put them on, and then changed my car to a red sort of theme. I'm using the kilowatt right now, but I actually bought a striker kilowatt. It doesn't think it makes any difference, really. It's just a certification, but I like scoring goals and stuff like that, especially on 2v2s, 3v3s. And I changed my preset up, make it look nice for these wheels, and it looked absolutely amazing. Now that I had the painted Apex in my inventory, it was time for this guy to receive them, and this was the second pair of Apex that he bought using me as a middleman, and so I think he was very thankful for me doing this for him. And it literally spent about an hour of my time doing this, especially getting them into the lobby, finding the trades, and then also doing all of the different swaps for the keys and the different items that we were doing. So this is the last trade. This is his half paid up, and it was time to give all of the keys, which I'll probably cut down quite shortly to the next player. Pretty much for this last couple of trades, it was just 50 after 50 after 50. I'm just going to cut it down quite quickly. I don't think you guys want to sit here watching me put up keys for quite a long time, but this is probably going to bring us to the end of today's video. We've done 3 different middleman trades for some awesome wheels, including the lime, sky blue, and also crimson, some of the favorite colors on the game. And some cheaper ones that I could have done, which I also got asked to do, were some like the cobalt and the saffron. I probably will do those quite soon and then make a video on them for the next episode of this series, but that will be out quite soon, so you guys need to make sure to stay tuned for that, and also maybe turn on post notifications to know when that is uploaded. The thing is, with some of these middleman trades, sometimes they can get quite confusing. I had a sticky note telling me how many keys I'd received and how many I then needed to pay up to the guy, and every time I'd given him 50 keys, I'd take 50 away from the amount that I had written down on my sticky note, and I was getting quite confused. I didn't know whether I had to give him 90 or 40, but then I watched back my recording and I knew that it definitely was 90 that I needed to give to him. So I gave him 50 keys. This is the last trade right here. Unfortunately, this brings us to the end of all of our middleman trades. I'll also have a video of episode 4 of the Nothing to White Zombies out quite soon, and also best trades of the week we haven't done for quite a long time, but that episode will also be out quite soon. We've done some really awesome trades, and if you want to trade with me, make sure to drop a few offers, because you have seen most of my inventory in today's video. I also have a few Spiralis sets, but this guy thankfully gave me a painted Animus, which is also certified, which I do thank him for, but it did take a lot of time. And yeah, brings us to the end of today's video. Just before we wrap up, the guy actually asked me to throw in this donation that he gave to me in the video, and I do thank him for this as well. He gave me a few keys, which I do really thank him for, and these keys will go towards building my inventory into a beast as we're building loads of sets. And yeah, it's going to look awesome really soon. Thank you guys all for watching. It's been an awesome time for me to be in these opportunities and able to have all of these awesome wheels in my inventory, especially the crimson that I tried on my car in today's episode. It was awesome to have those wheels, and they honestly do look really nice. As I do recommend you guys pick up a pair, and if you need me to middleman for that trade when you do pick them up, then just let me know. This is unfortunately the end of today's video, but I'll catch all of you guys in the next one. Peace.